You've probably heard the term fair use before. Maybe you've used it to justify using a clip in a movie for a video or some content. Maybe someone told you that as long as you're giving credit, it's fair use. Or maybe you've even heard that if you use less than 60 seconds, that's considered fine. I need you to hear me on this. Almost everything you think you know about fair use is probably wrong. And getting it wrong can cost you your content, your channel, or even worse. Today, I'm going to explain what fair use actually is under the law, how courts actually decide whether something qualifies, and the myths that are getting creators in trouble every single day. And as always, I'm sharing legal information with you, not legal advice specific to a given situation. If you're in a real copyright dispute, talk to a lawyer. But let's get you educated so you understand what you're dealing with when you're dealing with fair use. Before I explain what fair use actually is, let me kill some myths that are everywhere on the internet. Myth number one, if I give credit, it's fair use. No. Giving credit is polite, but it has absolutely nothing to do with whether the use is legally fair. You can credit someone and still be infringing their copyright. Credit is not a legal defense. Myth number two, if I use less than 10 seconds or less than 30 seconds, it's fair use. There is no magic number. There is no time limit in the law that says under X amount of seconds, it's actually okay. Courts look at the amount used relative to the whole work and how significant that portion is. You could use 3 seconds of a song and still be infringing if those 3 seconds are the most recognizable part. Myth number three, if I'm not making money from it, it's fair use. Whether you're making money is one factor courts consider, but it's not the only one, and it's not a guaranteed defense. Plenty of non-commercial uses have been found to be infringing. And if your video has ads on it, which most monetized YouTube videos do, there is a commercial element, whether you think of it that way or not. Myth number four, if I changed it enough, it's fair use. This one is closer to reality, but it's still oversimplifying the issue. Transformation matters a lot, actually, but just adding a filter, changing the speed, or putting your logo on someone else's work doesn't automatically make it transformative. Courts look at whether you've added new meaning, new expression, or a new purpose to the original work. That's a much higher bar than most people think. Fair use is a legal doctrine found in Section 107 of the Copyright Act. It's essentially a defense. It says that in certain circumstances, you can use someone else's copyrighted work without their permission, but it's not a blanket permission. It's a case-by-case analysis, and courts weigh 4 specific factors every single time. Factor 1, the purpose and character of your use. This is the big one. Courts ask, copy the original, or did you transform it into something new? Commentary, criticism, parody, education, and news reporting are all purposes that lean towards fair use. This is why reaction videos, legal breakdowns, and review channels can use clips. They're adding commentary and analysis that gives the clip new context and purpose. But simply repurposing a clip with no commentary, that's not necessarily transformative. That's just copying. Courts also consider whether your use is commercial or non-commercial. Commercial use doesn't disqualify you from fair use, but it does weigh against you slightly. And again, if you're monetized, there is a commercial element. Factor 2 looks at what kind of work you're using. Using factual content like a news clip or a public speech is likely fair use, more so than using creative content like a song, a movie scene, or a photograph. The more creative the original work, the stronger its copyright protection, and the harder it is to claim fair use. Factor 3, the amount and substantiality of the portion used. This is where the 30-second rule myth comes from. But the law doesn't work that way. Courts look at how much you used relative to the whole work, and this is crucial. Whether you used the heart of the work. If you used a small clip, but it's the most iconic, recognizable, or important part of the original, that weighs against fair use, even if it's only a few seconds. Using less of the original work is generally better, but there's no safe harbor number. And factor 4, the effect on the market of the original work. Asks whether your use harms the copyright holder's ability to make money from their original work. If your video replaces the need to watch or buy the original, meaning people watch your version instead of paying for the original version, that's a strong argument against fair use. This is why full episode reactions that play the entire original work are risky, even with commentary. If a viewer can watch your video instead of buying or streaming the original, you're directly impacting the market of the original work. So let's put this all together with real scenarios that creators actually deal with. Scenario 1. You're a commentary channel and you play 15 seconds of a news clip while discussing the story. This is one of the strongest fair use cases. You're using a small amount of factual content or for the purpose of commentary or criticism. All 4 factors likely favor you. Scenario 2. You make a reaction video where you play an entire music video while occasionally commenting. This is pretty risky. Even though you're technically adding commentary, if you're playing the entire work and your video could substitute for someone watching the original, factor 3 and factor 4 both go against you. The more of the original you use and the less commentary you add, the weaker your fair use argument becomes. In the third hypothetical, let's imagine you use a trending song in the background of your vlog. This is almost certainly not fair use. You're not commenting on the song, criticizing it, or transforming it. You're using it as a soundtrack, which is exactly the kind of use the copyright holder would license for money. This is why creators use royalty-free music libraries instead. And the fourth hypothetical scenario, let's imagine you create a parody of a popular song or video. Parody has strong use protection because by definition, it's transforming the original by commenting on it through humor. But parody, which comments on the original work itself, and satire, which uses someone else's work to comment on something unrelated. Parody is stronger, satire is weaker, and the distinction does matter. So what do you actually do with this fair use information? Here are a few practical guidelines that may help. First, use as little of an original work as possible. Don't play entire clips when 5 seconds makes the point. The less you use, the stronger the fair use argument becomes. Second, always add substantial commentary or analysis. Don't just react with facial expressions, actually say something meaningful about the content you're showing. Your added commentary is what makes it transformative. Third, never use someone else's work as a substitute for creating your own. That's probably a sign that the use isn't fair. Fourth, understand that fair use is a defense, not permission. You assert fair use after someone claims you infringed. It doesn't prevent a copyright strike or a DMCA takedown from happening in the first place. Even if you're right, you might still have to fight for it. So use copyrighted material thoughtfully, not recklessly. And fifth, when in doubt, don't use it. Create original content or use properly licensed material. It's not worth the risk to your channel. Fair use is one of the most powerful and most misunderstood parts of copyright law. It's the reason commentary channels, news analysis, parody, and education can exist on YouTube. But it's not a free pass, and treating it like one is how creators lose their content. Now you have a better understanding of the actual framework of fair use. You know the 4 factors, you know the myths, and you know how to start making smart decisions about the content you use in your videos. But always remember to get legal advice for your specific situation. Subscribe if you want to keep learning about the legal side of building a creator business. I post every week, and if this video helped you, send it to a creator friend who thinks giving credit is the same as fair use. They need to hear this. I'm Stevie. This is Girl Code of Law. I'll see you next week.